How's it going, guys? And welcome back to Retrospect, your go-to retro gaming podcast. You're listening to episode 51. Today, we'll be discussing the wild world of ports, remasters, and remakes. And joining me on the mics, as always, we have the co-host with the most, Brandon Saltalamacchia. What's up, man?
That's me. I'm doing good. You guys might hear some bings and bangs and bops because I'm getting my patio done, and my partner decided to order the food delivery for 11:30. And when do we start recording, Jake?
11:30.
Oh,
That's okay. I've already got it worked out. I'm going to just entertain the audience while you're bringing the groceries inside, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, man.
Nice.
What kind of service you guys have over there? You guys use Uber for your deliveries or what?
No, so our supermarkets have individual like delivery systems. So we got like a Sainsbury's, which is pretty much like a Costco, I guess, and they deliver
I love
it.
Costco. You guys have Costco over there?
Yeah, we do. Actually, one near me, Bristol, is huge, dude. You have to have a membership, I think similar to United States.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know if it's necessarily cheaper. You get like the wholesale price, but we wanted some like, I forgot what it was. We wanted something, and it was like £2 for one. And we ended up buying like 10 for 20. And I don't know if that's saving us money, dude.
Well, you're saving yourself trips to go back to the grocery store to get the simple things you might be eating that many of in the first place. I feel like Costco makes a ton of sense if you're a big family, but if you're like a small family or two people, it's the worst because like literally you'll buy this massive bag of, I don't know, popsicles or something like that. And you're like, I can't eat all these. I can't do this. I don't need this much. And I'm tired of this. Like you get halfway through that box and you're like, I don't want these anymore. Like I've eaten this.
Where'd you put all this stuff?
That is true. You don't have as much probably pantry space there as we do in the old America.
America, man.
Gotta stock up just in case there's a nuclear devastation happening around us.
Oh God.
The world's ending. Gotta save ourselves. Well, that's great, man. So yeah, I'll entertain the audience. Don't worry about that. A little bit of housekeeping. This is brought to you by Handheld History. 88 to 95. They are still probably taking orders for that. I don't even know. I'm speaking on things I don't know the most about, but you guys should check it out. I saw some folks getting their hands on the previous version recently, which still surprises me. I'm like,
which is interesting. I had the message Lost in Cult, and they're like, I don't know, like Collins are just sending them out randomly, like to just like they don't have bulk. They're just sending them out when they come in. So some people are actually getting their hands on the new original copy through Amazon in Waterstones and Barnes and Noble. I think you have in the States. Yeah,
I love a good Barnes and Noble. But yeah, dude, I noticed a lot of people on Twitter this past week were like, got my hands on Handheld History, and I'm like,
yeah,
I have that book. I was like, I know that book. Yeah, so good for you, man. Still getting those book sales coming in. That's great.
Yeah.
And then leave a review. Leave a review for the show, guys. Wherever you want to leave a review at your preferred listening platform, 5 stars. 5 stars only. You know how it goes. So we're gonna jump into the topic of the show real quick today because we gotta beat this food delivery. So this week we had the news of the Red Dead Redemption port and/or remaster coming over to the Switch and PlayStation 5. And this is the first time that we've had just Red Dead Redemption coming over from the original PS3 and I guess Xbox 360 versions on these systems. So it's exciting. A lot of folks are pretty pumped about this. I never played the original. Brandon, did you play that one?
Yep. Yes, I did.
Did you like it?
I did. It was like a unique take on like GTA, and it was big. It was open, graphically enhanced. I was like, yeah, sign me up.
Oh yeah, does a cowboy tale appeal to you? I mean, a cowboy thing is like also I feel like a very America thing.
Yeah, not really, but I did like the slower pace of the game compared to like Grand Theft Auto. You could just kind of double off on your donkey. That was fun.
I don't think he's riding a donkey, but I love. Maybe he is. I haven't played it, but dawdle off on your donkey. I like that alliteration there. Well done. Well done. But yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to sort of examine ports, remasters, and remakes. These are things that often get mixed up. And so at the very top, what I decided to do is define these terms for us so that people aren't confused as we continue to talk about them more. So up first, a port is just a straight across like functional port of an older game. It's just on new consoles, maybe with like a few minor updates here and there, but mostly it's the exact same game. So like an example of this would probably be closer to something like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Red Dead Redemption is a port.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really, it's just got some major or minor graphical enhancements, but it's the same game pretty much. Um, there's other games that are like emulated on NSO. Those could be considered ports, I guess, because they're being brought to modern consoles. They're just being ported to a new system.
Yep.
Um, and this is from I forget who wrote this. Forgive me. I think this is from IGN. Yeah, they said for the Red Dead Redemption port, it is not a remaster or a remake, but a conversion, according to Rockstar, and includes newly supported languages such as simplified and traditional Chinese, Korean, Polish, Brazilian, Portuguese, Russian, and Latin American Spanish. It costs $50 on the Switch, eShop, and PlayStation Store, with physical versions arriving October 13th.
I always
So,
wonder how much work goes into a port. Like I can imagine it's very minimal. Obviously, there's some technical functions that they need to review and get working, but
mm-hmm,
it's an easy income for those who have the files and those who have the ability to do it, the marketing to do it. Because
mm-hmm.
if we keep buying ports, and I guess it's the same with any of these ports, remasters, and remakes, we can only buy them so much. Do you know what I mean? Like I love Pokemon
Yes.
Blue and the older Pokemon games. If I end up buying them on every new console, by the time I'm like 80, I'm going to be spending thousands of pounds just on Pokemon Red.
On the same exact game. Well, that's like, yeah, like ports in general. We're the reason they exist, and yeah, it seems like an easy win. I know there's probably more involved that you have to do to bring them over to modern consoles, but yeah, you would think for the most part it's just like, oh, we need to make new button mapping controls for this game for this new console, and it should be able to emulate this pretty well. I think that's where we get in trouble is the emulation. I know like
Hmm.
NSO, people don't like the emulation on there as much as some other services, but by and large, people are like, it's fine, it works, it does the job. So I think as long as you have some kind of good emulation software on there, like just a basic emulation software on there or way to run it, then I think porting is easy. I don't know. Probably talking on my butt right now.
No, I think you nailed it on the head there.
Yeah. And then we have remasters, which implies only graphical updates or optimizes. So, an example, like this is funny, all the remasters kind of tell you exactly what it is in the title. So, you have Wind Waker HD, Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Kingdom Hearts HD Collection, The Last of Us Remastered, Metroid Prime Remastered. Um, so, they're trying to make it clear that this is a newer and or better version. A lot of times it is like better graphics. So, I don't know. Did you play the HD version of Wind Waker?
I did not, but I have played the Master Chief Collection, and that was by far, I think, one of the best remasters I've ever played. That thing
Hmm.
was it was just incredible.
They freaking knocked it out with those games, and they brought back like everything. Like, you could play any kind of mode you still want on that collection. It took them a long time to get there. I remember that game when it launched. There was some stuff they were still bringing up and different game modes for the different games. But I mean, that's a big undertaking for how many game modes there are in each of those individual ones. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
So,
and I can remember with the Halo Master Chief Collection, you could press one button and go back to the original
hmm,
like resolution and the graphics, so you could
so cool.
explore the game in like in a nostalgia sense and a more modern take, which is awesome.
Hmm. Yeah, well, that's a question I had for you about remasters. So, remasters they do enough to like upscale the resolution, make it look a little bit nicer. But again, comparing those to ports, is there anything that's lost compared to a remaster? Like you said with the Master Chief Collection, it was kind of cool being able to go back and see the original graphics and what that game looked like. But did you play on the HD version more, or did you play on just the or traditional style?
Yeah, definitely HD. I'd go back for like those signature moments throughout
Hmm.
Halo, and just flick between them both. But I'd say I was definitely more of a HD player in Halo. And
Yeah.
to answer your question, does it lose any of the magic? That's a tough one. I think sometimes I need to take away my sense of like when I was a kid, like, oh my god, this is insane. I feel like I'm in the world, but actually it just still looks like a potato. I think it does lose a little bit of magic, but I think or I expect that from a remaster, and you want to kind of see
Yeah.
it enhanced, not um, anything like the original in a way. Apart from
Yeah.
storyline and characters and stuff and music shouldn't really be remastered. I don't think.
Yeah. Unless they want to like reorchestrate it, I'm all for that, I guess.
Mm.
But yeah, I think I'm kind of with you, but there's something that's weird about playing an over HD like a high def old game where like you can tell that it wasn't supposed to be HD sometimes. So like I think the Kingdom Hearts collection, I remember that being like super, like it looks good in a lot of
Mm.
scenarios, but it just looks super like Twilight Town is one of the areas, the hub areas that you walk around in there, and everything has like HD textures that's applied to it in the new games, but it looks like almost more empty because it's so high def, if that
Oh,
makes sense. It's kind
so
of like the
it
soap
didn't give
opera
you
effect.
enough for your imagination, whereas previously you could just kind of imagine how magical it was. Now you're like, what is this?
Yeah, yeah, you can like see everything, and like it's just very basic textures or like stuff that's not as good looking anymore, or like it. Yeah, there's
Interesting.
something. It's the soap opera effect where you're like, I can see everything now, and it actually looks worse almost. Like
Yeah.
that is a case sometimes where I prefer the original to the new ones, and I think that's also to do with the CRT versus the like HD televisions. Like that also plays into it. When you're playing standard def or low res games, you don't need those high graphics on there. But on the new ones, you're like, ooh,
Mm.
this looks weird now.
I just saw Sainsbury's pull up, so they're going to be knocking any minute now.
Oh man. Well, hey,
Hmm.
if you want to just head out there, I'll entertain the guests with some stories,
They
some
take a couple of
tales.
minutes to load up and come over. So until this pings, I'm out of
Ping
here.
ping. All right, cool. Um, and the last thing that we are talking about today are remakes, and these are like full from the ground up remaking traditional games with some carry over the same storylines, but pretty much the entire game is different. So new assets, new areas you're exploring, new controls, everything. And good examples of this are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4, the new remakes, Demon's Souls on PS5, Dead Space, and Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know if that
Hmm.
one's kind of close to being a remaster because it sort of plays the same, but the rest of those ones are full blown remakes because they're not even close to the originals.
Yeah. I guess you
And
got
man,
Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, and they did the similar with
hmm
Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy as well. Those two were fantastic.
I almost had them on here, and I didn't know if they were going to fall under the remaster or remake category because like one
Interesting.
is
Yeah.
and one's
Yeah.
not, and I was
Yeah.
confused as to why not. But those both look incredible too. Same with like Ratchet and Clank. When that one got remade in 2018 on the PS4, that
Hmm.
game looked incredible and was totally different, but the same exact story from the first game.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. And I guess my first question then for like the remakes is a lot of work goes into these, but I feel like it's worth it. Almost every remake that we've had in recent years has reviewed well. Do you think that instead of doing remasters, people should just start doing remakes?
Ooh, that is. Hmm.
Hmm. Something to think
Yes.
about when you're bringing your Sainsbury's delivery in.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes I always get really annoyed if like people like they come out of ports and they're charging you full price, and the remakes have like very little work with a small team and they're still charging like full blown price. But with remakes, I feel like you get your 50 or 60 quid's worth because you know how much work's got into it. And
Hmm.
like I said, with the whole imagination thing, it kind of takes your imagination to the next level, and you've still got areas that you can explore in different kind of ways, and everything just looks as you imagined. Whereas there's my ding dong, there's my ding dong.
Oh
Whereas
man,
remasters, they're a little less. Be right back.
they're a little less. They're a little less. All right. Be right back. See you later, man. So, audience, I didn't have anything planned to talk about, to be honest. I should have, but we're going to figure this out. So, in thinking about this, the Red Dead Redemption remasters, when those came out, or when this got announced, I feel like there was like a mixed camp of people that were like really excited. But what I also realized is that Red Dead Redemption has been playable on Xbox for a super long time. And so, you have this one group of people that are super hyped. They're all about this new remaster that's just come out on their system. But then there's this other group that are like, yeah, so what? We've had that for forever on backwards compatibility on Xbox. And so I think there's a case to be made for like maybe if like the remasters or ports stay on the systems like they always should have, in the Xbox case, then maybe we don't need to make such a big deal about this. Like if every system just keeps their back catalog up to date and running and they add small improvements over time like Xbox, then maybe there isn't this business model where like we're just getting ports and remasters and it's a big deal. It's just like, oh yeah, they're coming out. But then I guess that makes me think about this. Not much business sense in that, right? Because you're essentially taking away all the hype of an old release and losing the ability to resell that game over and over and over again, like Brandon was mentioning. So I don't know, man. If I had to think about a rematch, I was like, if I had to think, you made it.
Wow, man, that was like I was as quick as like a Formula One pit stop.
Did you put the groceries into the fridge as well?
Oh no, they're just out there dwindling right now. But
Oh no. Okay, well
like 20 minutes.
we'll make sure you get done so your food doesn't just melt in there and you're just having a sad time with your groceries. If they do melt, I'll send some money your way to make sure that we can make up for that loss.
All good, man. Blame Kate, man. Kate all the times like she's the one reminding me like, don't forget 11:30 your podcast.
Well, in this case, she said, "Don't forget, we have groceries today as well." So she just wants to see what you're capable of. She's testing you.
To be fair, I did just see some Lotus biscuits in there, so
Ooh.
I'm a little bit happier now.
See, once again, you're saying things that I don't even. What is a Lotus biscuit?
I think it's you never heard of Lotus Biscoff. That's the one. Yeah.
You call them. You just call them Lotus.
Yeah, I don't know what I called them.
Dude, those are good. Whenever I get on an airplane that serves me those, I'm like, oh yeah,
this is posh.
This is a good day. This is this is a good day. Yeah, wow, I am living like a king. I was just about to pour into if there was like something that I was super excited about, like whether it be a port, remaster, or a remake. Like what would I want? Like what kind of game would I want to see remade or remastered? And I don't know. That's a tough one. Like at the top of my head, my dream was Super Mario RPG, and they remade that one. So I'm like, hell yeah, we got that one knocked out. So I don't know, dude.
I'm sure we done an article.
Actually, I know what I want. I want an Ocarina of Time remaster or remake. Like I've seen so many fan projects of them using Unity to make these games look incredible. I'm like, dude, that would be so nice to play that original story, but on modern hardware with a very up-to-date graphical engine. Like it would just be so nice. They could do a little bit more. They could add some more flavor and character to some of these people and locations, and I think it would be so good, man.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for that to happen. I doubt that it will, but that would be nice. That would be nice.
I'm gonna go for Croc. I'm gonna go for Croc, and I don't care if it's a port, a remake, or a remaster, man. Give me it. Give me the Gobos, man.
What is it about Croc that you love so much, dude? Tell me.
I think because I don't know, it's just a little bit of an underdog. When everyone was playing like certain games, I was like, I'm gonna take the chance on Croc. And even if it was a little underwhelming, I was like, yeah, cool. I love Croc because nobody else loves Croc.
We get each other. He and our buds. Me and Croc.
Yeah.
Oh man, the Gobos too. It all comes back to the Gobos. I feel like we've recorded 20 episodes now. Yeah, this is our 20th episode since relaunching, and we've talked about Croc and the Gobos at least like 5 or 6 times on 5 or 6 episodes.
It's underrated, man. He's an adorable little thing as well. It was
I
just
think I know
weird
what's
back then, isn't it? They, like in the game development era, they were just like, just pick a random animal and let's make it cute. And it's like they've just got a dartboard. They're just like, huh, hedgehog, okay, huh, squirrel, huh, overweight plumber, you know,
gecko,
yeah, gecko and a crocodile. Oh man, what next?
bandicoot,
Like
dragon. You're
we
so
need
right.
something a
That
bit
is a.
left wing, like a hippo, or a camel.
I'm sure there's a game where you play as a hippo. I mean, Sly Cooper, you played as a raccoon and you had a hippo sidekick.
Oh damn, yeah.
Ratchet and Clank, I don't know what Ratchet is. I forget his race of
Is he
animal,
like a
but they're
Tasmanian devil or something?
basically. And then you had Jack and Daxter, which they seem like they're almost in the same universe. They're also some weird alien animals. But yeah, that's a good point, man. Lots of animals in the '90s just throwing darts at
If
dartboards.
you're listening and you can find an animal that hasn't been used in a video game, I will send you a handheld. I will send you a handheld if you figure one out, because I reckon most have been taken.
Yeah.
And you can't be like a certain bird. You can't be like a golden silverback eagle thing.
Oh yeah,
That's a
dude.
bird.
Yeah, just yeah, the general animal
Mm,
species.
mm.
You can't be throwing down these different gene what are they called? I'm blanking on the genus. Different genuses of these animals. All right. We need the top ones, okay? I mean,
I think everything's taken.
bear, Banjo Kazooie, lion. I don't know if there's a game where you play. Well, I guess Simba, Lion King, you play as a lion in that game. Does that count?
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Bat. Yeah. Ukulele. Chameleon. That's from like the 2000 like late 2000s. But
There
dude,
might be a
this.
few. I'm looking at I'm just putting like a list of animals. Turtle, turtle, turtle. You got Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah,
Goat.
dude.
Surely nobody's gonna go goat.
Yeah, Goat Simulator.
Oh shit! Yeah.
You literally play as a goat that just causes mayhem.
Oh man.
Um, what's the Untitled Goose game? You literally play as a goose that just runs
Mm,
around and causes chaos. Oh man, I think there literally is no game where you can't like I'm thinking like maybe water animals would be your best bet. Like
yeah, like a blobfish.
there's a game called Octodad where you play as an octopus who's trying to pretend like he's a real human.
Oh my god.
Dude, this is taking me down. This is a fun brain exercise. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. So we'll see if the Croc remaster happens. I doubt that's going to happen, but fingers crossed, Brandon, for you.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. So, one thing about the remasters, really quick. This is not the remake, the remasters. So the ones that are like graphical updates, keeping the same feel as the original, but adding a few updates to make them more appealing to new audiences. Like that's like what I feel like remasters do best. Where you kind of talked about this when you were a kid, you're playing it and you're like, this is incredible. Graphics could not be any better than they are now. I am in this world. And then you play, a different game 10 years later and like, this looks so good.
Yeah.
Graphics surely can't get any better than this. Like that's the case for like remasters where you have all these adults now that grew up in a certain decade of gaming where games looked like they did. And then they want to go back and replay them again. And maybe they have those rose tinted glasses, but they go back and they're like, oh, this game looks like doo doo. Like,
Yeah.
this does not actually look good. So I feel like that's the case for remasters. I don't know.
And how often can you remaster a remaster? Because you look at Metroid Prime, right? What was that? Like,
Yeah.
15 years? Something like 15, 10 years?
2000 and that was a GameCube launch game, right? So I think that might have been 2000 and it may not have been a launch game. I don't know if it was or not, but early GameCube. So 2001, 2002.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit later.
Yeah, so you're looking 20 years. Are they going to be doing that again in 20 years? So what are they going to call it? Metroid Prime remaster. Do you know what I mean? Like, and how often can we like ports and remakes? How often are we going to be buying those things? So maybe the same with remakes. Like, will we be remaking Crash Bandicoot and stuff again, or
Hey,
Final Fantasy?
I mean, if we get a Banjo Kazooie remake, I'd be down for that as well. That'd be nice.
Yeah, they need to do that. Someone came out and said there's not enough demand for it. I disagree.
Yeah, I guess it has to make business sense, but I mean, of all the remakes we've gotten so far, like we got Ratchet and Clank remakes, and I'm like, I don't know if there was major demand for that either.
Hmm.
But if there was one, if Xbox really wanted to win over a whole bunch of people, they release a Banjo Kazooie remake. Ooh,
Hmm.
ooh, you got a lot of folks wanting to buy an Xbox at that point for that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a hard question for the podcast, those listening, and you, Brandon. If we had to rid of one of these, like one did not exist anymore going forward, what should it be?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go ports, and I think a lot of people would disagree with me.
Oh dang.
Only because just classic me. I think there's some magic going back to the original hardware and just trying stuff out. But that said, it's getting more and more expensive. Where if you wanted to buy an actual copy of something with the console, you might
Mm.
as well buy a lifetime of remakes. um, but there is some magic that you don't get with remakes. I might get mixed up now with remakes and remasters. I don't even know. Remasters. I am.
Remasters are the
I'm getting
lesser
mixed up.
versions.
So
Yeah.
complicated. So I would say ports, only
Okay.
because I think I would just like people to go back to the original hardware and experience the history of the game and the history of the hardware. But
There's not an easy way to
it's
do that anymore, you
no,
know?
no.
And that's where you come in. That's where retro Dodo comes
Emulation,
in.
baby.
This is a sales pitch. No, I'm kind of with you, man. I actually I like your reasoning for why you wouldn't like ports, because you're saying it's best experienced on the original hardware, which was not a thought that I had, but I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's also another part of these games when you play them on a new system. Like, you know, if I'm playing an old game on a PS5 controller, like just something doesn't feel right about it. You know, like it still feels
Hmm.
okay. The D-pad on there is pretty solid, and like the buttons are all in kind of the same place as a Super Nintendo controller. But there's just something about like playing those games on modern hardware. It doesn't feel quite right.
Hmm.
You're bopping through, and you have all these new upres pixels, and you have the little weird side screen grabber thingies to sort of hide the widescreen that you don't
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
make it a 4:3. So yeah, there's something that is lost. So if you can get your hands on a CRT, any of your old retro consoles, some controllers, and some games, you know, that'll only put you out like $500 to $600, and then you can play a, you know, an old version of
oh,
a game that you might not even like, you know. So I
it's
think it's
sad, man. I even try. I'm like, why don't just buy a Game Boy game, you know? But then you're like, actually, it's like $50 for the console, probably more
hmm
now, and you're looking, $20 for the game. It's
yeah.
not.
Well, you know, actually, what I will say, you made me think about this. Playing on the Super Nintendo Classic and NES Classic that they released, I guess, in 2017, 2018.
Yeah, sure.
That's actually a good way to replay some of those games, because you're at least, it feels like you're playing on the original hardware because it's the same exact controller. It does still have those updated like emulation things, but sometimes those can be helpful to replay those old games with the rewind mechanic.
Yeah, yeah.
But then also, if you want to buy like an 8-bit Do controller, or really honestly, some of these emulators, if you're playing like Game Boy games, it feels a lot like playing a Game Boy game when you're on some of these, like the RG35X. That one feels pretty much like a Game Boy when I'm playing it. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Like, yeah, this is what I remember it feeling like. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna do it, make sure the form factor is at least there, and
Yeah, you
they
need to
have.
nail down the controller. And like you said, 8-bit dudes doing some great stuff. Actually, Retro Fighters today came out with a revamped Dreamcast controller. It's not the same
Ooh.
design, but there's modern tech with vintage consoles now,
hmm
which is great. Doing stuff wirelessly. Like I bought a wireless Mega Drive controller that I'm testing soon, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
beautiful.
Did you? You said that you
Oh
didn't.
man.
You're.
Didn't buy the adapter, man. Didn't buy the
Oh
bloody
no.
adapters. This is and I'm calling analog out right now, immediately, because the way you sell your consoles is stupid. Like, you're not even adding a controller and you're not giving me any advice what to do. I ended up buying the wrong controller for £30.
Oof.
And because you're selling more bloody consoles than they can
Ooh.
controllers, I'm spending $50 on a controller with an adapter that hasn't come yet off some guy in Taiwan, which has taken 3 weeks to ship. So, Analog, sort your shit, please. Damn, I just want to play my console. I spent $100 on it, and I've had it for a month. Just let me play crack, for the love of God.
I've had it for a month. I've just been looking at it.
Yeah.
I just want to play this thing.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And look, Brendan, what I want to say is I feel like I'm going to check Analog's website. They literally don't have anything on there to tell you what kind of controllers to buy.
No, I had to look on Reddit, dude. I had to look on Reddit,
Oof.
and someone said the wrong thing, and I just bought it and screwed up. And then 8-Bit Dude don't sell the controllers anymore because Analog don't sell the consoles, but sometimes they do. You know, they just come out with like 1,000 stock.
Oh, yeah, they literally, their website, well, they have, 8-Bit Do right there. M30 2.4G. That's
That's
the
the one I
control.
bought. Doesn't come with an adapter.
What? Hold
It's
on.
Bluetooth, but it doesn't come with a Sega Genesis adapter because the Analog console doesn't have USB ports. It uses the exact Sega Genesis controller ports
Oh,
for what
you're
I'm meant to
right.
do. So then I bought
Oh.
Then I bought an original Sega Genesis controller, and I forgot the cable's 1 meter long, dude. So I can't even play it on the sofa. Oh man, I'm fuming.
that is so sad. Like, you're so excited about a bit of tech, and then you get it, and you're like, "Son of a bitch, I can't even
Yeah.
play this." Oh wait, Analog does it all. Mark III, Game Gear, Sega. Oh, these are just like the card adapters. Never mind. Disregard. Oh,
Mm.
that is hilarious. I mean, yeah, the design on this website's great.
Oh, I do like Analog's products.
Dude,
Just
and sold out. Ships in Q2 2023. So you got yours, and they're toast right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, hopefully they don't see this and get mad at you for getting mad at them. But
They
sometimes
must get it all the time. They must
you
get it all
need
the
your
time.
customers to hold you accountable. And
Hmm.
I'd say Brandon's probably up there with one of the best customers. He buys
Thank you.
he buys all the retro stuff. He's got the analog pocket. You probably have a few of those converters or adapters too. You're set,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I think for me, if I had to get rid of one of these, I would actually go the route of the remasters.
Mm.
Um, Only because, like you, I think the best way to play a lot of those games is on the original hardware or how they were like originally designed. And in bringing them up to modern standards, sometimes, like I mentioned, they just don't feel quite as good. In some ways, they feel better. I will admit that, like, the controller updates, the controller scheme updates, sometimes are greatly needed. Like in
Hmm.
Metroid Prime, the original one, the way that worked for lock on is you had to lock on and then you could like move around the subject. But in the new remaster, it's a dual stick control, so where you can move around and move your camera at the same time, and it's like it just feels natural to most
Yeah.
modern gaming controls. But but I think that if you're playing a retro game, it should be like the most optimal representation of that retro experience that you can possibly give someone. So, like, this is how it played. These were the mechanics at the time, and this is what you should appreciate it for.
Hmm.
And like, it's kind of like you're putting like lipstick on a pig when you're trying to like bring an old game up to modern standards. Like, it just doesn't work as well. So if
Yeah,
you're
the
gonna do it,
transition can be a little awkward, can't it?
yeah, if you're gonna do it, just freaking remake that sucker. Just do it, man. Just go ham and bring us a game like RE2 or RE4. Like, all those games like, are so good. And like Resident Evil 2, if you go back and play that now, is a trash game. But you can appreciate that it was a trash game, and then Capcom remastered it and remade it and made it so much better than it
Can
ever.
you sync up like PS1 and PS2 controllers to the PlayStation 5?
Mm-mm.
No. Because Nintendo
Unless,
Switch, they kind of bring out their N64 wireless controller, but it's sold out everywhere and it's a ridiculous price. I like that they do that. Gives people the ability to really go back to the roots.
yeah.
But with PlayStation, I don't think they do that. Probably don't.
They don't.
The
And
controllers are very similar, but not similar enough.
yeah, they made the what was theirs called? The PlayStation. They made a PlayStation Mini or whatever it was called.
Oh
What
yeah,
was
PS. I think it was PlayStation 1 Mini, PlayStation Classic, PS Classic.
is that what it was? I'm
I
getting
think
them all
so.
mixed up now. Yeah. Yeah. What was the SNES? Wasn't it called the SNES Classic? Oh
I
man,
think
these
so.
guys are not original. Super NES Classic Edition Mini for sale. DK Oldies selling that for $175.
Fuck you, DK Oldies, man. Jesus Christ. These guys are like shitting on the community so bad. They're like buying these consoles off of eBay and then literally spitting on them, going, I'll just shine that up a little bit and $200, please.
Here you go, buddy. You're welcome. Enjoy. Yeah, I got mine for I think what they retail for like $70, $80, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah,
I think maybe 50, 60, yeah.
Walmart's got it listed for 360. Dude, no thank
Man.
you. Etsy, someone's trying to sell theirs for $1,250.
Jesus.
That's just someone hoping someone is just bored enough out there to be like, yeah, I'll just buy that. I don't care.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
Someone with millions and millions of dollars, they're like, oh, that seems like a good deal. They're just going to buy it. Meanwhile, us plebs are like, I can't afford that.
No.
Well, I don't know if we're any less confused about ports, remasters, and remakes, but this was a good conversation. And, I'm curious to see what the audience thinks. But before we close out, Brandon, I want to know, what are you playing? If you're
I'm
playing
still
anything.
playing Pokemon Silver on the DS, dude. I am falling
Ooh.
back in love with my DS. I don't know what it is about it. It's just, and I've got the black one, so it's super sleek. Like I keep it crispy, shiny.
Yeah.
The crack of when it, you fold it back down, the clamshell, and the game is just
That's
great.
Nice.
So that is a remaster, isn't it?
Yes.
What the hell is that? That's a remaster.
That would be considered a remaster. It's just brought up to modern consoles with some graphical updates and new things. Yeah. Remaster, I guess.
That's a great remaster, man. I love it.
I still think that you need to try and find that little pedometer, little Pokeball pedometer, so you can walk around.
It to Pippin. I could just strap it to Pippin, right? Oh, that's a genius idea.
Exactly. Well, then they don't know if you're doing the workouts or not. And hear me out. You go to the gym. And you have that little Pokeball on your hip. People are like, dude, that guy's sick. That guy's a beast.
Yeah. I just got I can't do that. Oh man.
You're like on the treadmill. Like,
I want to be the very best. Like, this guy's weird.
Dude, you were on pitch. Do you sing? Did you ever sing in high school or in any grade schools?
Oh no, dude. I have to like hold back my voice a little bit. You know what I mean?
You hit it, dude. You hit it though.
My farmer accent, man. It just went, you want to be the very best. It's just nah.
That guy's voice is too high for me. I can't hit that note, so I'm jealous. For me, I am sadly not playing a remaster, but I am playing Final Fantasy 16 still, and that game rips, dude. I think
that's is that the big open world one?
It's not open world. I would not classify it as open world. This is the newest Final Fantasy, and it's more of like an action. It's kind of like God of War. I would say it feels more like God of War, where you're like moving through linear areas. There's like monsters you can fight. And then there's just like these long story sequences that are like building up to this big old, I don't even know what's happening, but there's a lot of really cool things happening. And the fights in this game, there's like basic fighting, which feels really good. And it's a full on action game. It's not turn based. And then there's these fight scenes with like what they call icons, like in all the Final Fantasy games, it's Ifrit, it's oh gosh, I'm blanking all of like the ice mage person, the storm lady, Garuda, the wind person. So anyways, you fight these giant, it's kind of like giant kaiju battles, like Godzilla style monster fights. It's really cool. It's a fun game to kind of just sit down and play for a little bit and wind out. So if you're looking
I'm going to say something now that our viewers are probably not going to like. I have never played a Final Fantasy game.
I figured by the way you were asking about it, I was like, I don't know. I'm think I've heard you talk about it before. That's okay. I've only played Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Final Fantasy 10, and this one. So,
Big
yeah,
franchise, like,
I
but
know.
it was in the UK, like, pretty big when we were kids, and it still is now. So it wasn't like I didn't have the chance to play it because it wasn't around. A bit like, Nintendo consoles back in the 90s in my area. But yeah, it just wasn't one that I picked up. I think it was a little bit too mature for me to like enter.
I was
Um,
going to say the same thing. I think when we were growing up, I think Final Fantasy was just a little bit out of our reach in terms of being able to grasp what we were supposed to do in those games.
mhm.
Because I mean, it was a full blown RPG, but the RPGs back in the day, they didn't tell you anything. They didn't give you any clues as to what you were supposed to be doing. So
Yeah.
you'd clear a town, and then they'd be like, "All right, figure it out."
Bye bye now.
Yep. And like you go back into the town and try to talk to everyone in there, and they're just like, "Do you want to buy some bread?" And they just tell you like stories about nothing that matters, and you're like, What am I supposed to do?" And then you just return it to Blockbuster, and you're done.
Yeah.
So I get it. I feel that, but they are good. I think the easier ones to get into start. I mean, if you like turn-based combat, Final Fantasy VI, I've heard, is a lot of people's favorite.
Didn't they bring
Um,
out a classic version of that recently, or am
mhm,
I?
Collection.
Yes, the one.
Yeah, there's a big old collection that came out on Switch, so that'd be probably a great way to play those and just kind of see what you think about them. But honestly, man, I don't know. It depends what you like. If you don't like that kind of game, then maybe don't worry about it. But yeah, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 10, 7 obviously is a lot of people's favorite, but that game does not look good if you're playing the original anymore. Like it looks kind of shitty. So
Right.
if you're if you're gonna play one, remake is really really good, and it's still going on. We haven't gotten the second part of that yet, or it's going to be coming out this year. So that could be a good way to experience the storyline without having to suffer through the game again. So I'm probably offending a lot of people by saying that. I like Final Fantasy. Just I don't. Maybe I don't have the heart that most people do. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. We're going to close it out, but before we do, I did actually want to mention. So we talked about last week giving away an emulator, and we actually ended up running two giveaways. Brandon is doing one on Retro Dodo right now for these framed controllers or game systems. Is that what it
Y-
is?
Yeah, yeah, framed grids. I've got
Mm-hmm.
one. There's a couple in the background for
They
those
look really cool.
watching.
Yeah. So to not step on each other's toes while we're trying to promote this, we're going to actually run the giveaway an extra week into next week's episode. So you'll still have a chance to subscribe. And I don't think a lot of people, like, I haven't pushed it out on social yet. So when we
Nor have
do
I.
actually share it, we'll probably get a lot more people coming in. But just letting you guys know that'll run one more week, and we'll announce that on episode 52 to let everyone know who the winner of the Retroid Pocket 3 is.
If you're
So it's
listening and you don't know anything about that, all you got to do is subscribe to. It was the YouTube channel, wasn't
mhm,
it?
just
Yeah,
YouTube.
subscribe and you'll be entered.
That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that is all the time we have this week. Listeners, if you had to get rid of ports, remasters, or remakes, what would you pick and why? Let us know by writing into retrospect at retrododo.com or commenting on your preferred listening channel. Brandon, anything you want to plug before we close out?
I'm still intrigued about the animals that haven't been used in video games, so drop that a comment as well. I'm gonna be dreaming
Perfect.
about that tonight.
What animals haven't been used? And then you're gonna like pitch Nintendo. You're gonna like send them an email like, "Hey, I've got a great idea for you guys."
Yeah, so
Uh,
there's this zebra and there's this sloth. They both they both got wings and they attack and it's basically Croc but with a zebra.
did you see this horror game or horror movie coming out about sloths?
No, but that sounds horrifying.
Killer sloths. It's literally like a
Oh
horror
no
movie
way!
where a sloth is like murdering people.
Because
It looks
I still need to
so
watch like the
stupid.
Cocaine Bear,
Yeah. Wow. We're getting a lot of animal murder movies. This is great.
Killer
Cocaine
Sloth,
Bear.
Slaughterhouse.
Yes.
What the
Slaughterhouse.
hell? Oh, like Slaughterhouse. Wow, I'm
Yeah.
sold.
Yeah, dude. Get excited about that. I saw that trailer. I was like, what
I
the
saw
hell?
I saw a tweet and they were like, would you accept £1 million if a snail was to roam the earth and touch you, you'd die? And it would always be moving closer to you. It could go over sea. It would just move directly, like always inching closer and closer. So you can never, ever rest.
Always on the move and never totally certain of how close you are to that snail. That's, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of measures that I could take to get that snail away from me.
Sleeping though, dude, and then just one day it's just looking at you on your pillow. Like,
how much money? How much
$1
money?
million.
Oof, yeah. See, $1 million, that's almost not worth it.
Is $1 million? Growing up, it always sounded like a lot, but then when you become an adult, you're like, that still doesn't cover my bills.
That'll last me maybe a few years, and then I'm broke again. Yeah. Maybe I need to. If I ever got $1 million, I'd have to like find an investor friend that knew how to like do things with money. And I'd be like, help me. I don't know what to do with this money.
Turn this into a little bit more.
And then America would just tax the hell out of me, and I'd only get like $600,000, and then I'd end up losing money somehow by illegally trading stocks or something like that.
Oh, God.
Well, I have nothing to plug. I do want to stream. I don't know what to stream. So maybe if you are listening, if you have any ideas on what you'd want me to stream, I'm really, really good at Smash Bros. So I might play some of that, but I don't know. You know, it's always hard to decide what you want to play because it's got to be entertaining for the people watching. Like, what am I doing? If I play Final Fantasy 16, you're just going to see me like roaming around and just fighting a whole bunch of monsters all day, like nothing.
And like with streaming, do people come, like initially you want people to come for you, but sometimes they come for the game. Like one of my friends,
oh yeah, big time,
huge in RuneScape, but if he wants to play any other game, doesn't get any views.
That's wild.
It's tough.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're big, if you're really good, you'll get some people to cross over still that like you for like what you are good at. But it also is about like playing games that have an audience right now. That's an unfortunate side, you know. So if it's a new release, you can play and people will watch. If it's a competitive game that is still popular, you can play that. So it's like Call of Duty, Overwatch, Valorant, Fortnite. I mean, I don't like any of those games. So so for me, it's like Smash Bros, I guess. That's what I'm good at, and it's still kind of competitive. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, until then, y'all, we'll catch you in the next episode.